When we talk about femininity, most people immediately imagine outward appearances, dresses, long hair, makeup, elegance. But these are just expressions, surface-level symbols that society has attached to the word feminine. The truth is, femininity is not an outfit you wear. It's an energy you embody. It is an internal state that radiates outward, influencing how others experience you. A woman can be dressed in the most expensive clothes, yet if her energy is restless, hardened, or disconnected, her femininity will not shine through. On the other hand, a woman in simple attire who carries herself with grace, calmness, and confidence will naturally command attention. Why? Because true femininity is not about decoration, it's about vibration. This energy reveals itself in the way you walk into a room, the tone of your voice, the gentleness in your gestures, the softness in your smile. It is not about shrinking yourself to be liked. It's about being so secure in who you are that you don't need external approval to feel valuable. Femininity is magnetic not because of how it looks, but because of how it makes others feel in your presence. When people meet you, they won't always remember your outfit, but they will remember how you made them feel. That is femininity at its core, the ability to radiate energy so authentic and graceful that it lingers in the memory long after you've left. One of the biggest misconceptions is that femininity equals weakness. People confuse gentleness with fragility, when in reality, the essence of femininity is soft strength. Think about it. Force may break barriers, but calm, persistent shapes destinies. Masculine energy often expresses itself in direct confrontation, in visible displays of dominance. But feminine energy influences in ways that are subtle, invisible, and often more enduring. A truly feminine woman doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard. Her calmness unsettles chaos. Her composure in the middle of conflict shifts the atmosphere more powerfully than shouting ever could. Soft strength is about having control over your reactions. It's about showing the discipline to choose calmness when provoked, grace when challenged, and dignity when disrespected. That is not weakness, that is mastery. History has shown us countless examples of women who influence entire generations not through brute force, but through their presence, their wisdom, and their ability to redirect energy without aggression. Soft strength disarms resistance. It opens doors that force would only break down. And the beauty of it is that it cannot be faked. It has to be cultivated from within through self-awareness and self-respect. When you understand this, you stop underestimating femininity and start realizing it is one of the most powerful forms of influence a human being can possess. One of the greatest strengths a feminine woman can embody is emotional intelligence. Unfortunately, society has conditioned many women to see their emotions as a burden, something to suppress in order to appear strong. But emotions, when understood and directed, are not weaknesses. They are powerful instruments of connection and influence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize not just your own feelings, but also the feelings of others, and to respond in a way that elevates rather than diminishes the situation. A woman deeply rooted in her femininity doesn't allow anger or insecurity to dictate her behavior. She pauses, reflects, and chooses her response with intention. That pause is what separates reaction from mastery. Femininity thrives in this awareness. When a woman is emotionally intelligent, she becomes a safe space for others. People are drawn to her not because she is loud or demanding, because she understands them on a level most never reach. Her intuition allows her to see beyond words, to sense what others cannot articulate. That kind of presence doesn't just influence, it transforms. This is why femininity is never about suppressing emotions, but about refining them. A woman who can turn her empathy, compassion, and sensitivity into tools of strength holds a kind of power that brute force will never match. At the center of true femininity lies self-respect. Without it, everything else collapses. You cannot embody grace, softness, or emotional intelligence if you are constantly chasing validation, lowering your standards, or giving away your energy to anyone who demands it. A woman who lacks self-respect will confuse approval with love and attention with value. But a woman who understands her worth does not beg to be chosen. She chooses herself first. Self-respect is not arrogance, and it is not selfishness. It is the quiet recognition that your dignity is not negotiable. It shows up in the boundaries you set, in the relationships you allow, and in the way you carry yourself when no one is watching. A woman rooted in self-respect doesn't need to scream for recognition because her energy communicates that she is not available for disrespect. This is the difference between being liked and being valued. When you lack self-respect, People may like you, but they won't respect you. When you have it, some may dislike you, but they cannot ignore you. That distinction changes everything. And here is the paradox: the moment you stop chasing validation is the moment you become magnetic. People are drawn to those who do not beg for their attention, but instead radiate self-worth from within. A core element of femininity is the ability to nurture, but too often nurturing is misunderstood as self-sacrifice, as giving endlessly until you have nothing left for yourself. That is not true femininity, that is depletion. Real nurturing begins with yourself. You cannot pour love, patience, or support into others if your own cup is empty. A woman who ignores her needs in the name of caring will eventually become resentful, bitter, or drained, and that energy will bleed into her relationships. The feminine gift of nurturing is powerful precisely because it creates life, growth, and healing. But it only works when it comes from a place of fullness. That means investing in your health, your peace, your passions, and your growth. When you care for yourself, you elevate the quality of care you can give others. People feel the difference between a woman who nurtures because she wants to and a woman who nurtures because she has to. One radiates abundance, the other radiates exhaustion. And nurturing isn't limited to people, it extends to dreams, to environments, to ideas. Femininity is the ability to see potential and bring it to life. That creative force is at the heart of feminine energy, but it requires discipline. The discipline to protect your own well-being so you can show up fully. One of the most misunderstood aspects of femininity is the role of grace and mystery. In a world where oversharing has become the norm, mystery is often mistaken for secrecy or manipulation. But mystery in its true form is not about hiding. It is about discernment. It is the wisdom to know what to reveal and what to preserve. A woman who lives fully exposed, physically, emotionally, spiritually, loses the depth that makes her magnetic. Grace amplifies this mystery. It is not just how you move or speak, but how you respond to life. Grace is refusing to let chaos strip away your dignity. It's the ability to maintain composure in moments where others would crumble. When grace and mystery work together, they create an energy that is both captivating and commanding. People are drawn to you not because you are performing for attention, but because you invite curiosity. This does not mean becoming distant or cold. It means carrying yourself in a way that leaves space for respect, wonder, and intrigue. A feminine woman does not feel the need to prove everything about herself. She allows people to discover her depth layer by layer. And that is why she remains unforgettable.